Big step for Tesla this week. It's taking the revolution of its Autopilot's full self-driving feature to the streets. No pitchforks or torches, much like most of our lives right now. This revolution is digital, but the traffic light and stop sign control is part of the update that Tesla drivers who paid for the feature are receiving as we speak. Now, this feature is going to work pretty cautiously at first as it's gathering the data from the fleet, so everyone's essentially going to become a volunteer test engineer for Tesla. When recognizing a traffic light or a stop sign, it will slow the car down at first, then stop, but you'll have to press the gear shifter down or the accelerator pedal to get it moving again. Now, this is very similar to how Tesla rolled out its Navigate on Autopilot lane changing feature, and as always, Tesla will require you to keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. However, the streets are much more complex than freeways. That's why more accidents happen on city streets rather than on freeways, including the fatal accidents. So something that technically seems very simple, like recognizing a traffic light or a stop sign, can actually be pretty challenging in some of the corner cases. In a recent presentation, Tesla's head of AI, Andrej Karpathy, showed many different challenges that their test data showed. As you can see right here, there are plenty of real-world cases where it's tough not only for a human, but also for a computer to identify one. When it comes to stopping in the traffic lights and stop signs, this feature better work like 110% of the time, or we'll have another wave of unfortunate accidents connected to the autopilot, and I don't think anybody wants that. Sandy Munro had a surprising turn of events, to say the least, during one of his Tesla Model Y teardown videos. We'll talk about that in just 1 second. Before that, a quick reminder that this channel and this video is sponsored by Avanex, the Tesla community's accessory store. Use E4Electric as a discount code for all of your purchases over $100. Sandy Munro has continued his teardown of the Model Y and answered one of the questions that I was wondering about in my last video, and indeed, that little triangle at the bottom of the windshield is the hideout for the windshield wipers to reduce the drag. But the most exciting moment of the entire series so far, dare I say, was when Sandy suddenly did this.
Some of you people are familiar with the with what happened with Elon Musk when he kind of like wanted to find out, you know, throwing balls at the glass. But this stuff doesn't react like that. Watch this.
And if you don't think there's a slow motion replay shot from the inside of the car, you have greatly underestimated Sandy's video production skills, so feel free to apologize to the man in a comment section of this video. Anyone else is thinking about the fax machine scene from the Office Space? Let me know in the comment section. Sandy, it's good to be a gangster. The lawsuit brought by Nikola Motors against Tesla is gaining some speed. Nikola claims that Tesla has copied its Nikola One semi-truck design. Tesla tried to invalidate the patents, saying that those designs existed before, but the US Patent and Trademark Office has issued the patent anyway, which gives Nikola's case some life. I do have to agree with Tesla. I have seen this design somewhere before. Where have I seen it? Oh, that's right. Every other housewife driving a minivan in California has showcased it for years. And now it's actually being used as protective gear by medical personnel to protect themselves against the virus. This is not the first time the US Patent and Trademark Office has issued a ridiculous patent for something very common that really shouldn't be patented at all. Take, for example, this patent that was issued, US 5443036A, where someone has received an approval for a product that was described as method for inducing cats to exercise by directing a beam of invisible light produced by a handheld laser apparatus onto the floor or wall or other opaque surface in the vicinity of the cat, then moving the laser so as to cause the bright pattern of light to move in an irregular way, fascinating to cats. That's right, they've allowed the laser pointer to be patented specifically for playing with your cat. And here's another quote: cats are not characteristically disposed towards voluntarily aerobic exercise. Really? You know, the way cats survive is by chasing things around that are trying to run away from them very fast so they can eat. So I'm not really sure if Tesla has copied Nikola, but I am sure that Audi has copied Tesla. That's right. Audi has copied Tesla. What did they copy, you ask? Good question. Was it the windshield again? Maybe was it the way the charge point lights up with the ring around it? Or maybe it was the graphics for the Autopilot. No. Audi has copied Tesla in like the only department where they don't really need to be better than Tesla or anybody. That's right, it was the website. Audi copied part of Tesla's website that was talking about the incentives for the electric cars to the point where they didn't even bother changing the names of the Tesla models to the Audi models. I think that guy who's going to get fired for this, I think he'll be the only one applying for unemployment not due to the pandemic. Let's talk about another bizarre story coming from another Volkswagen Group brand. This week we found out that Porsche has voluntarily lowered its Taycan Turbo S EPA range from 200 miles to 192 miles. That's right, the most disappointing stat about the car, which is its EPA rating, was purposely lowered by Porsche. There is no explanation from them or anybody else in their right mind that was offered so far. I should mention that most people who test drive the Porsche Taycan get more mileage out of it than the EPA rating, in some cases by as much as 50%. The Car magazine has reported that Porsche is working on a new, cheaper entry version of the Taycan with a smaller battery and a shorter range. The pricing for the Polestar 2 has been finally announced and it's just under $60,000. Even after the federal tax credit, Polestar 2 with about 250-mile expected EPA range would still be more than $10,000 apart from the entry-level Model 3. Ford has unveiled yet another one-of-a-kind all-electric Mustang. If you remember my report from this year's SEMA, a manual transmission all-electric Mustang Lithium was unveiled right before the launch of the Ford Mustang Mach-E, the all-electric sedan. This time Ford has introduced a 1400 horsepower Mustang Cobra Jet 1400, which Ford claims will crush a quarter mile in about 8 seconds. It will debut at a drag racing event later this year. This week, the price of oil has crashed to under $0. That means that the oil producers have run out of storage due to the lack of demand and literally had to pay buyers to take the oil off of their hands. Now, I was going to go to my local gas station to see how much they will pay me to fill up a car, but then I realized that showing up at the gas station in a mask demanding money could be misinterpreted, and it's really hard to make YouTube videos out of a county jail, I've heard. Michael Moore. Wait, you have no idea where this is going, believe me. Michael Moore has released a new documentary about environmental protection and green energy, which he executive produced, titled The Planet of the Humans. This movie is an unexpected slap in the face to the green energy and the electric car movement, with many claims that are normally made from the side of the big oil supporters. For example, this movie claims that the electric cars are not really helping the environment because they're made with a lot of energy that comes from the fossil fuels and the batteries are not easily recyclable. Of course, anybody who understands how big changes are made knows that you can't just flip a switch. You have to make one step at a time. And you have to get dirty to get clean. So applying this purity test to any progress is a sure way to halt it altogether. The movie also claims that the green energy movement has sold out to the big corporations and greed. But once again, any change on such a large scale requires a lot of money, especially in a capitalist country where Michael Moore still lives. To be fair, the movie does call out some inconsistencies and hypocrisies, like Al Gore selling his TV channel to Al Jazeera, a network heavily funded by oil money, and Earth Day concert powered by diesel generators. But all of this is gimmick. It really has nothing to do with the fact that green energy is not only good for our environment, but for our health, for technology, oil independence, and so many other things. And speaking of Earth Day, the movie came out right on the 50th anniversary of Earth Day that we celebrated last week, but the timing wasn't all perfect for Moore because his movie has offered the population control as the solution to the problem, which normally I'm more than happy to entertain, and as a matter of fact, that could be a very good idea, but I wouldn't bring it up during the global pandemic that already killed over 200,000 people. I want to give a quick shout out to some of my new Patreons: Bruce Berger, Jake Jaden, Andrew Coleman, Robert R. Bradley, and Jeff Stagg. Thank you so much for supporting my channel, especially during these tough times. If you want to join my Patreon community, go to patreon.com/E4Electric. I also put that link in the description of this video. Looking forward to your comments. Other than that, see you guys next time, and remember to stay charged.